Hello, I'm Dr. Chad Hawk. I'm here with Dustin Barton. We are members of Simplicity, and we'd like to share with you why we think you should attend Simplicity. Dustin, what are your thoughts?
My thoughts on simplicity and my excitement for being a part of this, Chad, is the fact of that we're going to be able to change people's Monday, and not talking about the immediate Monday after they come to one of our events. I'm talking about in the future, Monday after Monday, where you're going to look forward to actually getting into your office. But most importantly, you're going to be looking forward to get into your office because you're finally going to realize who you are, and you're going to circle your work life, so to speak, finally around your life versus what most chiropractors are doing and most CAs, which is circling their actual life around what it is that they do in a business. And for me, that's not simplicity. I've identified that over the years, and while along this process, been able to even identify it more. And some of the incongruencies that were becoming complexities in my life. And so what I want to help people understand is, something as simple as you say that family's number one, yet you're at your office until 7 o'clock at night. Doesn't seem like a big thing, but to your family, perhaps if your wife is somebody that maybe you don't know exactly who she is either, you might be married to her, but perhaps you don't know that she's somebody that loves quality time.
Exactly.
And you're one that goes to work to be the provider. You constantly are loving and giving her money and buying gifts of way of showing your acknowledgement of how you love her, but that's not where you're meeting her at, and that becomes a disconnect. So I guess if I would sum it up, it's to connect the disconnected. That's really what we're looking to do with simplicity, and why the weekend in Denver is so that we can all become connected again. We see it so often in our office, yet we don't acknowledge it in our own life. And until you become a better person, until you acknowledge your own faults, it's incongruent to try to help other people and give that message from whatever stage you're speaking from.
Absolutely. I always, in my practice, the way I ran my practice was lead by example, lead by example, lead by example. And there were many times I failed at that. But one of the things that I did is I was transparent about my failures. When I was able to finally identify those things, I would write a weekly email and I would put it in there. Hey, this is a way I've discovered where I've been letting XYZ down, whether it's my family, my practice members, my community. And people really appreciate it when you're genuine, not like you're hanging dirty laundry out for people to see. I don't mean that. I mean you've identified an area that needs improvement, that needs to be challenged and corrected. And that, I think, is what we're trying to do with our team, is present the opportunities, the contradictions, the inconsistencies, the stumbling blocks that we have in our, I almost want to call it a faux business model. It's a fake business model that chiropractic has adopted over the years. And it's not vitalistic. Here we are, we preach vitalism, we talk about removing subluxation, we do all of these things, and Dustin, what do? We, in our own businesses, fall into those traps. We have subluxated businesses, incongruent practices, and we're in contradiction in our actions.
I think you made a good point there, Chad, on why this is partly called simplicity, because there's so many different ways. What you see and what has been your experience is different than what my experience is, and it's not something that we're telling people how to do anything. It is do your life, not what our life is. Don't be another Chad. Don't be another Dustin. I was just sitting down with a head psychologist here in town because we're doing some things that aren't chiropractic, but are related on a business model, on a foundational principle of life, and what she's seeing is going wrong within her own profession, and what I see and what we've been talking about that we'd like to see our profession ignite, and that's the idea of self-awareness, but more of that is to become authentic with who you are in regards to how you serve people. And what we started to begin to discuss is how most people try to create their own business model within their own profession, yet that is so incongruent, because what we need to do is just follow a business model and implement it into how you run a chiropractic office. And that is the difference between complexity and simplicity.
Okay, Dustin, in your opinion, no, not your opinion, it's not an opinion. Walk me through what's going to happen at this weekend of simplicity.
The weekend of simplicity, it's going to be, I guess if you'd sum it up, at the beginning, you're going to be going through self-discovery. It's truly identifying why you do what you do, not so much exactly who you are, but once you have truly come through that is, why do you do the actions you do? What brings you into a healthy state? What brings you into an unhealthy state? And how do you actually become consciously aware and catch yourself within that so that if you find where you're leading, you can then better understand how to lead other people. And then from there, we're going to dig deep into what are the principles of life? And how does that become congruent with not only what you're currently doing and who you are and what your action and your purpose is, but most importantly, if you're a chiropractor or CA, how do you bring that into your practice versus trying to make things up that you possibly either do or don't know and trying to make things more complex? And from there, we're going to dig into your core values. How do you congruently make decisions? An example of that is you might be currently working with a malpractice company who supports somehow financially, helps out with something that have to do with the pharmaceutical companies. That could be far-fetched. I don't know if that's in our profession because I don't go that way. But if there is, we want you to understand what you're going to do and how is that congruent or incongruent. And then at the end, it's really going to be jumping into bringing that all together. Monday will be a little different, but you know what? The greatest thing I love about this program is it's not going to be a life changer on day one. Principle number 6 is a principle of life, and that is every process takes time. If you think that you're going to come on to this event and you're going to walk in to your office Monday and it's going to be a glorious day, I hope it is. But it might only be glorious that day. The more and more you dig into yourself, you're going to find there's going to be trials and tribulations. But that's the journey. And if we're asking our practice members to go on a journey with us, we have to be willing to continue the journey ourselves.
Yeah, I really look at major life changes at 1 year intervals, not 1 day intervals.
Right.
In 1 year, your life should be a whole lot different. It should look improved. It should be more genuine and less encumbered by the accoutrements of people who stand on stage and try and tell you what to do.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think the value of this program is what I just touched base a little bit on. I'm sitting down with a lady who heads the Department of Psychology at one of the major universities in town, and she's saying we're missing this in our profession too. This isn't straight to chiropractic. This is missing throughout the world in understanding better not only yourself, but how your purpose is going to help humanity. And I think that's what really, really excites me is that we don't have much of that within our profession that we can grasp onto. Everything is specific to chiropractic, but if you look at those that came before us, the shoulders that we stand on, they were humanitarians. And I think we've lost our way in many different ways that we became just chiropractors and did what we thought was chiropractic, but instead of being a better person and really believing in who we are and what we do.
Yeah, that's very well said. So, if you'd like to register, the space is limited to 16 chiropractors and up to 16 staff, spouse, or significant other. So that means one chiropractor can bring one other person with them, and that's it. This is intense. There's 4 instructors. Dr. Dustin right in front of you, myself, Chris Cox, and Tom Gargiula, with Steve Hoffman helping out on the back end of these things. So we've got an amazing team in an intense environment over 1 weekend. The first one is August 28th, 29th in Denver, Colorado. Space is very limited, as I've said. So if you're interested, register today. And how do you register? Contact me directly, Chad at drchadhawk.com, or go to our webpage, which is www.practicesimplicity.org. Practicesimplicity.org. Click on Denver and you can register there. Fill out the information, takes payment, does everything. Any last words, Dustin, before we give them a great night?
You know, I'm just looking forward to this whole process coming to fruition with our first event because of the excitement that I've seen with all of us as we've went forward. And you guys have been practicing, for many years, myself for 7 years, and to look at all of us and go, we've seen a lot come through this profession. Good. I have nothing negative to say about anything out there, but this is something that I've been searching for and been traveling around and trying to find the right people to be with, but not only the right people within this program that to start something like this and move forward with it, but the people that we're going to have that in these intensive programs, they're going to be the people that really want it. We're not taking on 300 people on a weekend. We truly want to dig into who you are, and so you're not wasting your time. This is something that has not been seen within our profession, that we're willing to take time on a weekend to spend with each other, because this is a journey as a team.
That's right. So thank you very much, Dr. Barton. I appreciate it. And everybody else, please register, contact us for more information. We really hope to see you there, and we know your life will change.